Hey everybody, Ryan here at eTrailer. Today on our 2019 Cadillac XTS, we're going to be taking a look at and showing you how to install the Curt Trailer Hitch Receiver. So these Cadillac XTSs look really good, and so for me, if I was wanting to put a hitch on it, how the hitch would look on the back of the car would be an important thing. And to be honest with you, out of the hitches available, I think this one is going to look the sharpest. It is going to be somewhat hidden. It is a little bit visible, but it doesn't take up a ton of space or really stick out. It's going to have a really nice gloss black powder coat finish, especially on a black vehicle. It kind of just meshes with it. And one thing that I really like that the other hitches don't offer is this reinforced collar here. It's not only going to provide us with a little extra strength, but I think it really kind of goes the extra mile and gives our hitch a more complete or finished look. Now this is a Class 2 hitch, so it's going to give us that 1¼ by 1¼ receiver tube opening, and it's going to use the 1/2 inch size pinhole. Now keep in mind, a pin and clip does not come included, but if you need one, you can pick it up here at eTrailer. It's going to have plate style safety chain openings, which don't give us a ton of room, but what is nice is that they sit further back. That way we're not going to have any interference at all with our pin and clip. Now as far as the hitch's weight capacities go, it's going to have a 350-pound maximum gross tongue weight rating. So that's going to be the amount of weight that's pushing down on the hitch. So that's good for those 1 to 4 bike racks, for example. As far as the maximum gross trailer weight rating goes, it's going to be 3,500 pounds. And that's going to be the amount of weight that's pulling on the hitch. So that is the weight of your trailer plus anything that you might have on it. Now I do always like to recommend, it's never a bad idea to check with your XTS's owner's manual to make sure your Cadillac can pull up much weight safely. And if you do plan on doing a little bit of towing, I would recommend picking up some trailer wiring. That way the lights on your trailer will match up with the lights on your Cadillac and you'll be safe and legal. Many of our XTS customers plan on using their hitch to carry around a bike rack. And if that's your plan and you're looking for one that'll match up good, I really like the Cadillac Transfer 2.0. It's really functional, easy to use, well built, and looks really good on the back of the Cadillac. Now I'm going to give you a couple of measurements, and you're going to use these to help figure out which hitch mounted accessories to get. From the ground to the top inside edge of the receiver tube opening, that's going to be about 12 inches. So if you do plan on doing a little bit of towing, chances are pretty good you're going to need to get a ball mount with a rise. From the center of the hitch pin hole to the edge of the rear bumper, that's going to be about 5 inches. And you're going to use that measurement to help figure out that if any folding accessories you might have can be stored in the upright position without contacting the bumper. So at the end of the day, the hitch is going to look pretty decent. It's not going to stick out like a sore thumb and take away from the looks of your Cadillac. Now as far as the installation goes, it's actually easier than you would think it would be. There's really nothing too crazy involved and everything's relatively straightforward. Speaking of which, let's go ahead and put it on together now. To begin our install, we're going to be working underneath the back of our Cadillac, and what we're going to need to do is remove one of our exhaust hanger bolts, which is located right here by the tailpipe. So the bolt that we need to remove is this one right here, closer towards the center of our Cadillac. You can see the bolt, but you can't see the head of it. That's located on the back side there. But you're going to grab a 13mm socket to pull that out. We have this one out. The other side set up the same way, so we're going to repeat this process over there. So now we can grab our hitch, the main portion here, and put it up into place loosely. So the way this is going to work is these openings here are going to sit against that factory weld nut, so that weld nut will line up with this. Once we're holding it up there, we're going to take our long bolt and a conical tooth washer, run it through from the front towards the back of our Cadillac. So we'll put that end through the weld nut. Once we have it up there, we're going to take the small nut and secure it on the other side. I do suggest getting an extra set of hands to help you out. So we'll raise that up, take our bolt and our conical tooth washer. It is a little tight, so keep that in mind, but we're going to thread that bolt through the factory weld nut. And once we get it hand tight, we'll move to the other side and secure that nut. So now what we need to do is move to our suspension cross member right here, and we're going to need to enlarge one of the holes. So right here, this is the hole that we want to enlarge. It's going to be the one closest to the back of our Cadillac. And the reason for it is we're going to have a 1/2-inch size bolt that needs to pass through there. So that's the reason we're opening it up. So we want to open it up just enough to get a 1/2-inch size bolt to pass through there. I'm going to use a step bit, but a regular drill bit will do the trick as well. And once you verify that a 1/2-inch bolt will indeed fit through, it's a good idea to cover that bare metal with some paint or something. That way we don't have to worry about any rust or corrosion issues in the future. Now we can take this V-shaped bracket, and the side that has the single circular hole is going to line up with the hole that we drilled right here. So we're going to loosely bolt this up. And so we're going to take the hex bolt and a split lock washer, put that over. Take our hex bolt, run it through the bracket and through that hole. Then on this opening here, what you're going to do is take the handle nut, slide that in, and line it up with the bolt. So we're just going to get this hand tight for now. So now we can grab our center section piece here and get this loosely installed. These 4 holes here on this square plate are going to line up with these 4 holes here, our hitch. And what we're going to use to bolt it in is a carriage bolt. That's going to drop through the top. So we'll line that up. And just for now, we're going to get one of these started hand tight. So we'll take a flange nut, run that down. That way this end will be somewhat supported. You don't have to worry about it falling. And then we can move back here to our bracket. Get this loosely secured as well. This one we're going to use a hex bolt, a split lock washer. This hole here is going to line up with this one right here in our bracket. We will push that through. And on the other side of the bolt, just take our flange nut and get that hand tight. So now we can get our 3 remaining bolts going. They're all going to use that same hardware combination, just a carriage bolt and a hex nut. Now, at this point, we can come back and snug down all of our hardware. The bolts that you're going to want to tighten first are the smaller ones up here by our exhaust. So I use a 13mm to hold that nut still on the back side, and a 13mm wrench to tighten this down. So then we can move to this bolt here and tighten it. Take a 19mm to hold the nut still, and a 19mm to tighten the bolt. Once that's snug, we can then tighten this bolt up here. That goes into our handle nut. And finally, we can then move back towards the rear of our Cadillac and snug up all of the hardware here. Now we can grab a torque wrench and tighten all the hardware down to the amount specified in the instructions. And we're going to use the same order to torque them as we did to snug the bolts down. Now, just kind of help clean up our install look a little bit, what I'm going to do is take the handle nut here and this remaining portion and just kind of trim that off. That way we don't have so much of it exposed. I'm going to use a Dremel tool to do that. You may be able to wiggle it back and forth enough to get it to break there at the seam, or a pair of snips would probably get the job done too if they're nice and heavy duty. And that'll finish up our look at and our installation of the Curt Trailer Hitch Receiver. on our 2019 Cadillac XTS.